There's a few people you want in place before you move abroad: a tax accountant, an attorney, a notary public, and a runner. You're going to need a tax accountant that's familiar with filing taxes for U.S. citizen, non-residents, or green card holders, non-resident. This is because even though you're no longer residing in the U.S., you are still responsible for paying some portion of taxes in the U.S. This is because the U.S. has a status or a U.S. citizenship-based tax system where it doesn't care where you're residing outside of the U.S., you are still required to pay some form of taxes. Also, if you have foreign bank accounts, which you likely will have a foreign bank account, you may even have real estate in these countries or even foreign investments. The U.S. requires that you report on these foreign assets to the IRS. They follow you no matter where you go. So you want to make sure you have a tax accountant that's familiar with these compliance requirements so that you're not in a bind. Number two, you're going to need an attorney, preferably an estate planning attorney that's able to draft an estate plan for you prior to leaving the U.S. because you probably plan on dying in that foreign country. So you want your desires ironed out before you leave the country. You also probably want that estate plan translated into the language and where you're going to be resided so that everyone is aware of what your desires and your last wishes are before you leave the US. And you're going to want to refresh this document. Say you do it at 60. This is a major life change. So every time there's a major life change, you want to make sure you refresh the documents to make sure all beneficiaries are alive, that you still currently own the asset that was reported in the previous estate plan. So this is not a one and done. Whenever you do estate planning, it's not one and done. It's a document that's living and breathing for the duration of your life. So you want to make sure everything in there is current. Also, a component of an estate plan that you want to make sure is current is a power of attorney. A power of attorney is a document that gives someone else the authority to act on your behalf. So you want to make sure that you select someone, A, that wants to do it, that's able to do it, and is not overwhelmed with his or her life. And so that you need that person to perform and act for you in the United States, that they can make themselves or render themselves available. Sometimes people pick the wrong person to be a power of attorney. That person's like overwhelmed or messy. Just because it's a personal friend does not mean that's the one best suited for this type of role. You want someone that will be able to take care of your responsibilities as if they were their own. And you want to make sure you select someone that is responsible and astute and able to stand in for you, because you are not going to be able to fly back to the US every time something needs to be done. So you want to be mindful of the person that you select. You're going to need a notary public. The chances of you needing a document notarized stateside in the United States is highly likely. So you want to have a notary in place that can vouch for you and notarize documents for you quickly. I actually had a call yesterday from a friend that I met in the Moving Abroad group. I don't even think she knew I was a notary, but she's currently in Wales, and she asked me if I knew of a notary that could notarize for her. So of course, she didn't want to fly all the way from Wales to the United States. So I just let her know, well, I'm a notary, I can notarize for you. And I notarized for her, and it was one and done. She was smart enough to network with the right people at that time. Put an asterisk next to that. I'm going to address about networking. Number four, you're going to need a runner. A runner is a person in the legal world that completes tasks for the attorneys of the law firms so that the attorneys and the employees of the law firm are not pulled away with running errands. So this person essentially files documents, goes to courts, may go to other legal offices, deals with the minutia of a law firm so that the lawyers can focus on lawyering, support staff can focus on supporting the attorneys. And so they're not pulled away in all different directions with having to complete this task or complete this task. It's completely a model of efficiency. In the law, you have to optimize time. And so people have learned to do things in the most efficient fashion. So a lawyer who is litigating in court, his skills aren't best used running to the post office. So they hire someone in order to do that so that the lawyer can really do his lawyering thing rather than have his skills be pulled away in different directions. Is that everybody? A tax accountant, a lawyer, a runner, and a notary. With that being said, you also want to make sure you have a strong community. This is about building community. Essentially, the reason why you're wanting to move abroad is because you see how other countries prioritize community and they still eat. The US is really good for making money, but not for maintaining and fostering relationships. So you hopefully will learn that, and that's why you're attracted to these cultures, because you see how important community and family is. So before you do, foster your community, foster your network of people. And it's okay to have people that are in place solely because of efficiency, as long as they know the nature of why they're in your life and you know the nature of why you're in your life. It's not a problem to be resourceful. Being resourceful is extremely important, especially regarding the move abroad journey, because there's no roadmap. you can have certain things in place, but you are going to have to rely on your wits about you. You are going to have to rely on community in order to make your transition as easy as possible. I learned at a very young age to be resourceful, to prioritize community, and it has benefited me in ways money cannot. Your community and being resourceful will open doors that money will never be able to open. I have a network of people around me that are also prioritizing resourcefulness. My dear friend Kabibi, she's one of the most resourceful people that I know. I could call Kabibi today after I get off this video and ask her, can you find me someone who plays the harp that's between 35 and 40, speaks Cantonese, German, and Spanish, and went to New York University law? And she would be like, oh, I know the perfect person for you. She's so resourceful. It's so remarkable, but that's because she pays attention. So pay attention to the people around you. What are their strengths? What are their weaknesses? And build your network with that. Community is really what I believe going to get us through this very uncertain times where there's so much angst and anxiety. It's people that's going to get us to us. We look at these countries, other countries that are considered the global south, and they don't have nearly as much wealth and financial assets as Americans, and they survive. And that's because they rely on one another. So optimize your community, have your boots on the ground in the US as well as abroad, and it will allow for your transition to be even smoother. I have a Move Abroad coaching course as well as individual sessions. So if you wish to meet with me, you don't even know where to begin regarding moving abroad, there's a link in the description box. We'll iron out the steps that you need to be thinking about, the boots on the ground that you need to have in order to move abroad so that you can feel confident about your plan. Also, I have the medical tourism trip, which is coming about. If you're one of the many millions of Americans that do not have adequate health insurance, please think about becoming a medical tourist. This is the wormhole for the inadequate health insurance, the health system fiasco that Americans are grappling with. I don't anticipate this healthcare is going to be fixed in the US anytime soon, so it would be prudent for you to think about alternatives. Being a medical tourist is not perhaps the perfect solution, but it is a solution for you to get access to healthcare at a fraction of what it would cost you in the US. And so think about that. If that's something you are thinking about, the link will be in the description box. Let me know your questions. Did I have the right people in place for this video? Did I mention the right people regarding having in place? Let me know about your community, the people that you have in place in case you need something done or to complete a task. I think that's an important conversation. So much attention is built on, oh, knowing rich people or how to build wealth or how to know the right people to open the right doors for you. It's about relationships that really open doors for you. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.